So the first question is, are tall buildings which are expected to have strong wind and stack effect considered as complex building, level 3, or just level 2?
It depends. So basically, if you do a uniform building pressure check in the building and it passes, then you treat it as a level 2 building. If you can actually manage the temperature difference internally and externally to kind of mitigate the stack effect, which can sometimes be done by purging the air within the building, but not always, then even if it is a very tall building, you may be able to get uniform building pressure, and therefore you can just treat it as a whole building test. If that's not the case, then it will be a level 3 because you would need to split the building into zones then.
The second question is, will any low-rise residential buildings ever need more than a level 1 test?
Depends, because it depends on the size. Because you can get some very big low-rise buildings, but generally they shouldn't. Generally they shouldn't do. There might be, as the industry for a test an existing building gets up, there might be a need for using 2 fans, depending on what kit people have got with buildings with very, very bad results.
Okay, and what data needs to be submitted to ATMA by the testers for a given test? Is any validation done to check for good tests?
Yeah, so the information that gets lodged, it's basically, there's different ways. We've got probably about 5 different ways to lodge tests. So some of them are where people actually use their test data files from their air test software. So basically every single variable gets lodged. That doesn't necessarily go onto the certificates. We do also have like a redundant system, or we call it redundant system, but some people do still use it, which is basically a web form that people fill in. And then we have another means where some people can produce a, if they've got bespoke software, for example, done into something like Excel, they can lodge a CSV document. So that's just got sort of key columns for the like the address details, what systems are in the building, the key parameters that are used for the result. So that's like the envelope, what the air permeability is, the airflow exponent, the coefficient of determination. Those kind of data get lodged. In terms of what checks we do, the only real checks that we do as part of the process is we check that the airflow exponent is between 0.5 and 1, and we check that the coefficient of determination, the R squared, is 0.98 or greater. Anything that's out of those parameters, the system automatically marks the certificates as rejected, and where the result normally is displayed, it says invalid. That is basically the only automation that we do in terms of the validation. We regularly audit our testers, but that's a separate thing. We basically do a desktop audit initially of lodged data, and depending on the findings, we either ask them to resolve the test, or we select another test for audit within, say, 2 or 3 weeks, and we do a secondary audit to make sure the issues have been resolved.
Okay, thank you for this answer. Another question, which measurement techniques are supported by ATMA, both pressurization and pulse? Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, predominantly the fan pressurization is lodged. I'm not sure we've had any of the pulse test lodged with us. We do have a few members that use the pulse system, but I'm not aware of any that have been lodged. I did mention the CSV method of lodging, and the pulse system can be lodged via that. But yeah, I'm not aware of any that have been lodged. But I mean, there's 615 tests a day, so it's, you know, I don't look at every individual test for obvious reasons.
I can understand.